Wow. So unfortunately, is all you're going to hear about is Big Ben and the ending of this game. But just a classic battle. Look, as a Browns fan here, F Zappa 20, seeing the two enemies go at it. Didn't really care too much about the outcome. I didn't think, but I had a rooting interest by the end just to see the way the whole thing went down. But look, anyhow, early on, first quarter was just pretty much ugly. Penalties and punts, nothing to nothing was the score. And then second quarter is when the rain really hit. It was unfortunate that in a playoff game the weather was a factor there for a little bit. I think that possibly on on McCarron's fumble, maybe the ball, maybe not on the fumble. I think that when he went back, it got hit. The interception he threw, he was just throwing it deep down the field. It was third and long. They were going to punt it anyhow. So it's 6-0. The Steelers didn't do much with the penalty. Steelers couldn't do much on offense either. It was only 6-0 at halftime. The Bengals come out in the second half, looked like a whole different team, running the ball much better. Jeremy Hill had a big run, 30, 40-yard run there. But then right after that, that was the fumble by McCarron. That was actually in the third quarter. So then the Steelers pick it up a little bit. This is when they're looking like they're going to put the game away maybe. They get a big pass play to Brown. They're up 15-0 now. They go for two-point conversion at some point right there. Could have been just 16-0, but for some reason they go for two. That did come into play momentarily. So they go up 15-0. Shazier had a big hit on Bernard, KO'd him. That's when the things got a little bit ugly too. I was getting texts from friends saying there was fights in the crowd. You could just hear the boo and throwing shit on the field. Maybe, that's the Bengal fans are starting to become known for that, throwing shit on the field. I know Sam Weiss gave his big speech, but, maybe he should say, look, I know this is Cincinnati. Maybe, whatever. I don't need to get into that. But anyhow, this shit's always happening in Cincinnati is my point. So anyhow, you get to the fourth quarter. It was a huge pass interference call against the Steelers. It was pass interference. Set the Bengals up. They get a touchdown. They get some momentum. Big Ben had been knocked out of the game at this point. Burfict with a nice hit on him. Oh, he'll come into play later. Burfict with a nice clean hit on Big Ben, taking him out, injuring the shoulder, and then the Steelers for the next 2 or 3 series with Jones in there. Couldn't do anything. Eifert comes back to life. He has a horrible drop and then a huge catch, allowing A.J. Green then to get it done. Giving the Bengals the lead, scoring a touchdown. Oh, wait, no, they had not scored, had got the lead yet at that point. Or did they? Yeah, that gave the Bengals the lead. The Bengals also mixed in a field goal in there, too. What the fuck am I thinking? 15-10. So then they get the big touchdown from A.J. Green. They go for 2. At this point, the 2 made sense. They were trying to go up by 3. They didn't get it. They failed. 16-15. Jones comes out there, just immediately throws another interception, essentially ending the game. The Bengals either can just kneel on it. Steelers did have all 3 timeouts. So what should the Bengals have kneeled on it and killed the clock, or should they have just run the ball? Unfortunately, Jeremy Hill, they choose to run the ball, and Jeremy Hill didn't just run the ball, man. He ran the ball with power, just like he was trying to break an 80-yard touchdown. Gets stripped by Ryan Shazier. Ryan Shazier, man, big night. Probably defensive MVP for the Steelers, Ryan Shazier was. Todman and Trusson on offense, so obviously Big Ben. So anyhow, that was the beginning of the end right there. Jeremy Hill just giving too much effort when it wasn't needed. He fumbles. But then he's bailed out, it looks like, because Big Ben can't even throw the ball but 8 or 9 yards. Long story short, they get all the way down the field. It still doesn't look like much is going to happen. I think they had 18 seconds to go. They were around midfield. They had no timeouts. They needed a first down. But if they got a first down and did not get out of bounds, they were going to be screwed. Throws into traffic. Antonio Brown, it's an incomplete pass, and then Burfict throws the shoulder just as Brown's coming down. His shoulder collides with Antonio Brown's helmet. Penalty. So that's going to set him up for a potential field goal. So then while Antonio Brown's down, somehow Pacman Jones in there gets another penalty, moving them up to about the 10-yard line. Chip shot, game-winning field goal. Futility for the Bengals continues. Now it's like with Marvin, just all hell broke loose there at the end too. Reports of coaches being shoved, more shit being thrown on the field. I don't know, it was unbelievable. So that pretty much wrapped up what was an awesome game. Just had an ugly ending. It was an ugly night, just fucking rain. The only thing that sucks now about these new fields too, I was kind of pissed with all that rain. We should have totally had some good old-fashioned NFL football follies. Dudes sliding all around in the mud, just covered head to toe in mud. But instead, every now and then, you'd see some rubber pellets stuck to their head. Oh, well, I'm F Zappa 20, and as a Browns fan, I have no idea what the playoffs are like, so it was kind of cool watching the Bengals and Steelers. Bengal fans, ooh, man, I feel for you guys big time. I do. I work with some Bengal fans. I know Bengal fans. I'm in Bengal country, all right. And the Steelers, boom, moving on. What a drive by Big Ben. I mean, he comes in there clearly injured, throwing 6-7 yard pass. I mean, he just made the decision. Landry Jones, whatever. I know he was in a tough spot, but he just looked horrible. I don't even think they gained a single yard in the 2 or 3 series he was in there. Burfict picked him off. Looked like Burfict was going to be the hero, only to become, well, can't really call him the GOAT because these days the GOAT has a different meaning. Back in my day, when you called a guy a GOAT, it meant he fucking sucked.